Hello.
Morning, sir. How we doing?
I'm excited for
You're
Vision
so
Quest Day.
excited.
I'm so jazzed. I'm ready to hear about it. I don't know which order we're gonna go in if we can get to that first, but I'm very excited. For me, it feels like Vision Quest Day for me personally.
Let's
I'm
do
just
it
excited.
first. Why not? What else do
Okay,
we have to do?
we're gonna give the people what they want right up front.
Yeah,
All
let's give them
right.
what they want. I'm a brand new man. I'm ready to go.
You look different. You look
Um,
revived,
I feel
refreshed.
I feel different. I
Okay.
feel great. Put a lot of
Ooh.
pressure on Vision Quest, and it totally paid off.
I was worrying about that. I was like, boy, he's really built this thing up. Like, if it's a
Yeah.
dud, is he gonna come back like just totally destroyed or what? But
Yeah, probably.
okay.
I probably would have. But it was not a dud. It was not a
Yay.
dud at all. It was fantastic. Okay, so Wednesday morning last week,
Yeah.
I dropped off the kids and then drove to Tyler, Texas. So like an hour and a half east of here.
Nice.
Called East Texas.
There
And
you
it
go.
is, yeah, it's, everything's relative to Dallas. Lubbock is West Texas, Tyler's East Texas, Dallas is just the middle. So drove out to East Texas, couldn't check in into my Airbnb until like 3.
Mhm.
And so I went and got brunch by myself in Tyler, Texas.
Love it.
And I bricked my phone,
Mhm.
which is huge. It's going to be a big storyline here. Is I bricked my phone.
Okay.
So
So you should explain what the brick is, just in case somebody doesn't know.
yes, good point. The brick is a physical device that I have purchased, and it is basically like a NFC device, and it hooks into the phone's screen time APIs. And so what I can do is I can say like, hey, when I brick my phone, I don't want to have access to Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, YouTube, Hacker News, all this stuff. And unlike screen time, there's just no way around it. Like you can't just say,
Yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to do this, but give me, 1 more minute, 5 more minutes, whatever. You can't do it. So, and then the physical device part is the only way to unbrick the phone is to go tap the physical device with your phone. So what I
Okay.
do is I have 2 physical devices, just little blocks, keep one in my backpack out there and one in my nightstand at the house. And so if I want to brick my phone, I have to go find one of those devices and tap it. It's really annoying. It's
That's
incredibly
crazy.
annoying. Yes.
Okay.
Um, and it really illuminates how often I like pull my phone out of my pocket just to look at stuff because I'm like, oh
Right.
God, I can't freaking look at anything. It's so stupid. So I go to brunch by myself, take a book in, and I'm just like, I'm dying, man. I'm like, I'm so freaking bored. What the
Right.
hell?
Yeah.
I'm like texting my wife and friends because I can't look at anything on my phone, and so I'm just like, hey, what are you guys up to? Um, and so I have brunch by myself, and then I go get back in the car and unbrick my phone and sit there for like, 15 minutes just looking at stuff. I'm like, hey, I did
Okay.
it. I did an hour. We're getting somewhere. This is, we
Wow.
have to
Addiction.
take baby steps. Total
No.
addiction. And so I brick it again. I go to Barnes and Noble, walk around, read some books, and then finally it's time to check in. And so once I got to the Airbnb, my phone was bricked until I left. So I didn't look,
Oh.
I didn't even open my computer until the very last day when I wrote my newsletter, but I didn't have, I didn't have anything fun on my phone the whole time.
Wow.
The
Okay,
entire
no
time.
computer either. I thought you'd have the
Nope.
computer maybe doing notes or something, but no computer, no technology other than, I guess, a TV in there, if there was a TV. I don't know if there
There
was.
was a TV. I did not watch it.
Okay,
I did put on an episode to fall asleep on my phone. But yeah, I didn't
okay.
watch any, movies or anything like that. And I actually don't block YouTube with the brick
Right.
because I'm not that distracted by YouTube. I don't really
Yeah.
like it doesn't pull me in. If I want to look up, like if I want to watch a construction video, I don't then go into like, conspiracy theories. I just watch the
Right.
construction video and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get there. It's
Mm.
this little cabin surrounded by trees, just beautiful.
Okay,
So
perfect.
much nature, so much
Yeah.
nature. Can't hear or see another person at all. So it's just totally quiet, just birds and bugs and the wind, and I'm just there.
Yeah.
So I get there and I just start sitting on the porch. That's all I did. I got there and I just sat on the porch and looked around. Felt like an insane person because I'm just sitting on the porch looking out at the trees, just kind of like turning my head like, oh, what's going on up there? Oh, it's a bird. Oh, wow, that leaf just fell on the ground. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Felt like a crazy person.
It's like maybe you're the last person on earth kind of thing. It was the end
Yes.
times, and it's just
Yes.
like, well, there's nothing else to do.
A
Yeah.
100%. So that's what that's all I did the entire time was just sit
Okay.
around and look at trees and stuff.
Did you have a notebook? Did you have
Didn't have a
writing
notebook.
instruments? No
No,
notebook? No
nothing.
sketching? No
So
nothing? Okay.
I have my yellow legal pad. I had that.
Okay. Alright.
But I wrote down like 10 words
Okay.
and then was like, this is going too slowly. So I switched to voice memo.
Okay.
So I did do some like cataloging of the introspection, but I did it via voice memo.
Well, that's interesting. I like that.
Instead of writing.
Yeah.
When I got back to the studio on Friday, I then wrote a bunch more kind of like as a debrief. But while I was there, I didn't write hardly anything at all. And so it's very, very strange. It's very strange to sit there with no like directed thoughts and no prompts and nobody talking, no podcasts, no like background music, just sit there. Very weird.
That's freaky.
Very weird.
It's kind of freaking me out just sitting here. Yeah.
It's kind of freaky. And so, Wednesday afternoon, I got there at 3, which is when I was allowed to check in, and then, sat around for a while, made my frozen that's what I had for dinner.
Nice.
Frozen pizza. It was great.
Did you bring food? Did you like bring the 2 days worth of food, or how did you do the food?
Yeah, I packed in 2 frozen pizzas, a 12-pack of Topo Chico, just
There
like
you
the
go.
best sparkling water ever.
Even in the end times, you're gonna have Topo Chico.
I gotta do it. Drink all 12 of them over the 48 hours. Yogurt and granola for breakfast. They had coffee, and I brought liquor to make my favorite cocktail, and that was it.
Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah. So for lunch, I kind of forgot about lunch. I did buy chips and salsa, so I ended up just eating chips and salsa for lunch.
I was going to say,
forgot.
that's not a lot of food. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a lot of food. Kind of forgot. And I also thought I would have pizza left over. Turns out I was a hungry guy, all that thinking. And so I just ate all the pizza at dinner. So, that's too bad. Okay. Kind of starting to get in the zone on Wednesday, right? Kind of starting to come down from the society high of always being plugged in, right?
So hold on. You're only fully there the whole day Thursday?
Only full day Thursday.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
And you have to leave by 11 or 10 on Friday.
Left by 11 on Friday. Yep.
Okay. So it's like a day and a half, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So Wednesday, I'm really like, I was there at 2:45 waiting for the cleaner to exit so I could get in and start my vision questing.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, I come down. I'm like, I didn't have to unbrick to get another hit. I feel like I've like eased into it now. And then Thursday, I wake up and I'm just like, what do I do? I don't have anything to do. I went to bed pretty early, woke up kind of late, felt awesome. It's like, I don't have a single thing to do. It's not like, oh, make sure, your vision is done by 6 so you can get home and put the kids to bed. Like not a single thing to do. Man, it was the weirdest feeling ever. So then on Thursday, I felt like my brain started to like glitch out or something. So
you're crashing out, as the kids say.
I'm crashing out. I may have invented meditation from first principles, but like I'm sitting there on the back porch drinking my coffee, just looking around, and I'm noticing like thoughts come into my head, and I'm just kind of like observing the thoughts. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you're inventing meditation.
I invented meditations. Yeah.
Did you push it out though? See,
I didn't push it out.
Okay, that's the full meditation, is really to push them out. Not to push them out, but to acknowledge them and let them pass through.
Well, okay, so I did do that. I saw the thoughts and I was like, that's really curious. It's one of those things where like, if you look directly at it, it disappears. You kind of have to like observe it from the side and be like, that's curious. Well, you can't glimpse the face of God. You can only see his back. And it's like, oh, don't look at him. You'll die. And so I'm like,
in every movie,
I'm like sitting there and these thoughts are coming up in my head. And I'm like, I feel like I'm seeing the thoughts come up as little strings, strings of thoughts. And somebody emailed me and was like, are you sure you weren't on mushrooms? And I'm like, no, I wasn't. I wasn't on mushrooms. But I'm seeing these little thoughts come up and like, oh, like that was from 5 years ago. that's curious. And then I
Right.
see another one come up and it intertwines, it like tangles with the first thought. And it's like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
these two thoughts are like, huh, that's directionally the same thing. And then they kind of like disappear. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting there, just like looking at the trees, and my brain is doing all this work without me. Like I don't have any prompts. I'm not like directed attention
Yeah.
towards what should I do with my life. It's just I'm just like observing all of this background noise like come to the front, and I can like kind of like hear slash see these thoughts, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really helpful. Like this is crazy. I didn't think about that. That's a great point. And it's just the weirdest thing in the world.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
like then I go on a walk.
Mm.
I see a deer, try to become friends with it. It runs away. Saw it a couple more times. It heard me coming from like, 100 miles away. It never got close to it, but I tried.
Yeah.
So I'm going on this walk, and these thoughts just keep like spiraling into my head. And I sit down on a log, and I sit on a log for like an hour. Just like I just saw a log and I was
Uh,
like, that's a nice log. I should sit on that. And I
uh,
sat on it, and I just looked at the ravine, the dry creek bed, for like an hour. So that was my entire Thursday, was just stuff like that.
yeah.
Then Friday morning, I did a little more of just sitting around, ended it with some sad songs, because I love to listen to sad music, just
Okay.
like, Iron and Wine, stuff like that, a little
Okay.
Sufjan, a little introspection.
All
And then I
right.
wrote my newsletter on Friday right before I left.
Mm.
So that was like the course of events. That's kind of how it went.
Okay.
Now, the things that were discovered.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
I feel like I had some really good revelations while I was there. As these strings are popping into my head and combining and then, pulling back apart. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. This
No,
is this is
the
a
thing is society and technology has been suppressing your brain
yes.
and your thoughts and constricting them, and, like,
Yes.
literally in a few hours of being not having that constant pressure, your mind is functioning correctly again.
Yes, that is
Yeah,
exactly what it felt like. It
yeah.
felt like a pressure relief valve had been turned, and like all this pressure came off, and then the brain started working.
Dude, we gotta get you into just a little side element here before we get into your revelations. We gotta get you into TM, which is
I
Transcendental
know
Meditation.
you've told me
We
about
gotta do it,
this.
man. I know I don't like I wish they'd just come up with a different branding because I think
I
it makes
know
it
it's
sound
bad.
too,
It sounds
like,
woo woo.
it's religious, it's whatever, but it's not any of that stuff, but just the thoughts come in, but you have a mantra, and the mantra is just what you go back to let the thoughts pass through, and just, like, takes that pressure. It just gives yourself 20 minutes every day of, like, what you experienced, right? And it's like
Yeah,
20 minutes to, like, let the cycles release and not be, like, stimulated and all the stuff, and it's very good. But
I
anyway,
think if I did
continue.
that 20 minutes a day, this wouldn't have hit as hard,
Well, that's true.
because
Well,
I
yeah.
haven't been, I've been, suppressed
Yeah,
for
you gotta
5
explode,
years.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think the idea,
So
though, is, like, that you don't get yourself
that's the
so
benefit.
torqued up,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you're trying not to,
Yeah.
because sometimes that explosion goes a poor direction. It doesn't always
Yes.
go to, like, you get a vision quest and you feel better. Sometimes it goes to, like,
Sometimes it blows
you go
out
down,
sideways. Yeah.
right? Yeah, so
Become an alcoholic or something.
right,
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
yeah. So,
No, I think I do need to practice this
yeah.
more often, and I do think I invented meditation. I'm
You
pretty
did,
sure
you're
this
right.
is just basically meditation.
This is what your book is now. You're gonna
Yes,
go,
exactly.
well, yeah, the mindfulness is the other kind of big form. I mean, there's lots of forms, but, like, I don't care for mindfulness as much because that when you focus on your breath. Instead of a mantra,
Mm,
you focus on your breath. Is basically the main difference. I don't like to be internal like that. Like, that's, like, too,
interesting.
my body's moving, I'm feeling it moving. Like, I just like to
Yeah,
be stay in my head, keep the thoughts out by, like, stay in the mantra. But anyway, yes, okay, so you invent meditation,
I invented meditation.
you didn't know we kinda talked about you were gonna maybe have, like, kind of a list going in, but it sounds like maybe you didn't really have too much
So I
structure other than I know you had some social media was a baseline thing you were thinking about, but not too much else maybe, or
Yep,
did you
exactly. So I
okay.
put together I talked with Claude and put together a list
Mm,
beforehand of like, hey, just give me like 15 to 20 questions that can help me do some introspection about basically my work. The whole thing was basically focused on work, not
okay,
really family life, not spiritual life, just kind of like work. I got to figure
yeah,
work out.
okay,
And so I told Claude, give me those. I printed them out, obviously, before I left. And I did read those over while I was there. And some of them were helpful for like like bringing up some directional, questions and
Yeah.
stuff. And so I think the biggest takeaway for me is the past, like, I think that since the older twins were born, so the older twins were born, 4.5 years ago. So we'll just say 5 years. 5 years ago. 5 years ago also started my like path on Twitter. Right. So 5 years
Mhm.
ago, I had like 1,000 followers, and then I started like being purposeful about it. And
Right.
now I have whatever, 50.
Yeah.
And so this past 5 years feels like a block to me, like a chunk.
Yeah.
And I think for the past 5 years, I have not really done a good job, or I've basically lost my ability to focus deeply for hours at a time.
Right.
Just like it's just gone. I just don't
Yeah.
have that ability anymore.
Yep.
And so as these thoughts were coming up, that's one thing I kept noticing was like, man, it feels like the overarching feeling that I get observing this block of time is one of like distraction. And I was
Mhm.
like, man, that's not great. That's not a good, like, if you had a one word takeaway from this 5 years of
Right.
work, the word being distracted, that's
Yeah.
not really a ringing endorsement of how you're living
Yeah.
your life.
Mhm.
And so there are other words that were associated with it, like frenetic and, flitting. Like I just flit from thing to thing.
Mhm.
And that was the thing that came up that made me feel icky. Like looking back on that, and I tried to give myself some grace. Like, hey, you've done a lot of great things. Like
Yeah.
you're, by all normal measurements, doing well. Um, and that's fine, but looking at this, is this how you want to live your next 5 years? And the answer was like a resounding no.
Right.
Not at
That
all. Not
has a
even a little bit.
visceral reaction
Yes.
to that. Right. Yeah.
And one of the Claude questions was like, what do you know is true that you're not willing to admit? And I was
Mm.
like, okay, I am addicted to Twitter to my detriment. That is what I
No.
know is true and
Yeah.
not willing to admit. I would have said before, like, I'm addicted to it probably, but I think the to my detriment is like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I have said that out loud. Like it is a very bad thing. And let's hold aside all the like social stuff. It just distracts me.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
the
That's
bad part.
the
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, society's falling apart, everything's depressing,
right.
sure. But I check it every 6 minutes. Like that's
Right.
not good. I
Yeah.
can't get anything done.
Right.
And so that was the big realization, is that like the way I'm living my life is not congruent with like what I want to be doing with my life. And what I
Yeah.
want to be doing with my life is like enjoying the work process a lot more. I enjoy
Mhm.
I enjoy the output. Like I think the things I produce are good, but it's just it's a real beating to get there, because I feel like I'm like walking uphill, pushing a boulder uphill.
Right.
And because I'm so distracted and I'm trying to fit in this work around, checking Twitter every 6 minutes. And
Right.
so looking at that, it was like clear as day. And it's so, man, I know that I just like, it's like when rich guys invent hobbies and they're like, you know what you can do? You can just do something for
Right.
fun.
You can just buy a
I
yacht and go do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I invented meditation, and it's just
Right.
crazy. Everybody's got to try this thing I invented. But the experience was interesting because the answers became self-evident. It wasn't
Right.
like I had to do a lot of digging. Like I didn't
Yeah.
have to like,
You know all this stuff, but
I
it's
know
just you're
all of
giving
it.
yourself time.
All of it.
I literally don't think there's a single thing you've said that if we just talked about it, you wouldn't have said, and that you probably have said on the show at some point.
Probably.
But it's just that like feeling it is different than
Yes.
mentally
100%.
understanding it, right? It's like, yeah, I know I'm addicted. I know I'm on there all the time, every 6 minutes. Like, I'm sure you would have just said
Oh, I
those
would
things,
have
right?
told
Like,
you, yeah. And it would have
right,
been
but it wouldn't
hysterical.
have
We would have made a great joke about it.
right. But it's like now having the chance to sit with it and be like, oh, I really feel how this is bad for
Yes.
me
Hugely
is the
different.
next level. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Hugely different to like know something and then to feel like viscerally disgusted by it, to be like, oh, I don't want to live this way. I don't want to do
Right.
this. This is awful.
Yeah.
I hate this. And that was like a curious experience to me, just to have those answers just like, within inches of reach and be like, yep,
Right.
that's easy. Got that 100%.
Right.
And so that was probably the biggest, is that I need to change my habits, patterns, strategies, look to live the life that I want to live. I have to change what I'm doing. And so there's another realization, but on this one, the practical takeaway, and I'm prone to like grand sweeping gestures, and so
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like precise about it.
Okay.
The takeaway for now is no podcasts, no social media, no email before noon on a work day.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. That's
That seems
that's
reasonable.
that's the
Seems
whole thing.
doable. I
Seems
like
doable.
yeah, say a reachable goal. Like, this is not way out there. I'm not
No.
gonna do it anymore. Like, this is like, yeah, if you can get a nice 3-4 hour chunk of the morning in, you're
Yes.
gonna feel like you got a lot of stuff done. It's gonna wean you off of the checking like habit, at least for chunks of being able
Yep.
to do that for chunks of time. I like that.
And
That seems
so
good.
I bricked my phone most of this weekend as well,
Yep.
and it just made me feel better. It
Right.
just made me feel better. Like, I felt like I was more present, felt like time was passing more slowly, but
Mm,
not in like a grueling way. It was just
right.
like, oh, I'm relaxed, these I can just sit around and read a book or play with the kids, and it's like, that's fine. And it also revealed to me that like almost every moment of downtime has historically been filled with just checking on stuff. Like, let me just,
Right.
I'm at a stoplight. Let me look at my
Right.
phone.
Let me check
I'm
in.
I'm like walking from the kitchen back to the bedroom. Let me look at my phone on the way. It's like, good Lord, this is
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So this weekend was much better. Much, much, much better.
Okay.
Just felt like less stress, less strung out. And so I've set up a schedule on my phone where every morning at 6 a.m. it bricks itself. And
Mhm.
so I don't have to like remember to do it, because
Right.
usually the first thing I do when I wake up is look at my
Yeah.
phone.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Okay,
I'm
so you're
so
not doing the
sleepy. I'm so
check-in.
sleepy. Let me get some input and let me look at what all the mad people on Twitter are saying.
Okay, see, I thought you might be going to, like, a morning push to, like, get caught up on things and then brick the phone 8
Nope.
to noon or something, but
Nope.
you're going nothing from wake up through noon.
Through
You are off,
noon.
off the grid-ish, at least in terms
Off
of
the grid-ish.
social
Yep.
media type thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. That's harder there. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. That could be like the hardest part almost. Cause like once you're at work, it's like, okay, I'm focused
Yep.
on the thing I'm doing and like whatever. Maybe I have the temptation, but okay, I'm in the work. I got to get this done, whatever. But like when you first wake up and you're like, oh, I got a minute, or like,
Right.
you're waiting for a kid to do something and you're just kind of sitting around like, okay, so there you
Crazy.
go.
So I did that this morning,
Interesting.
right? So this
Yep.
is the first
Hmm.
work
So this
day
is Monday we're
post
recording.
retreat. Yeah.
Yep.
And I woke up and I was like, let me grab my phone. Well, nothing to look at here.
Nothing there.
Let me see what these old voicemails are all about. Yeah, well, all right. I guess that's the only thing I can look
Clear
at.
those out, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get up now. And then driving. So I dropped the kids off, and then I always drive to get a coffee, and then drive to the office. And I didn't listen to a podcast while I was driving, because
Wow.
normally it's like, what can I throw on? Like,
Yeah.
let me just tune out and just start my day by engaging in some content. And this morning I
Mm.
just drove silently like a serial
Wow.
killer. Yeah, it was crazy.
So
It was
that
so weird.
that is interesting to me to put the podcast in there because I feel like that is quite different than, like, sort of the Twitter. Like, I don't feel compelled to, like, check in on a podcast. Like, it's like I
Right.
listen when I have time, and then I don't if I don't have time and whatever. But is this more to, like, make the space of, like, some empty thought
Yes,
space? Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so the theory is that in the morning I want to save my best thoughts and energy for the work, whatever that
Right.
happens to be.
Mhm.
And if I start by filling it with podcasts, then I feel like I I don't have, like you said, the space to just like let those thoughts come up. But
Yeah.
two, I'm getting, I'm getting this input and I'm thinking about their stuff instead of my
Right.
stuff. And I want
Yeah.
to be thinking about my stuff.
Yeah.
And that whole like, subconscious information processing, like when you have a problem you're working on, the quiet space, like your brain is just working on it constantly. And instead
Right.
of filling that with freaking, Jason Calacanis on
Right.
This Week in Startups or
Yeah.
something, I just let
Yeah.
it work. So I'm just like,
Right.
let it cruise and do whatever it's gonna do.
I
And
like that.
sometimes that may be nothing, and sometimes it may be something awesome. So yeah, so I
I
did it
like it.
today. Obviously we're recording, before noon, but I did it this morning. I drove with no podcast, got to work, and it felt like I have had a whole day of productivity so far. And it's 10 o'clock. We started at 10 o'clock
I was
today.
gonna say, yeah, so you've only had a couple hours there, and you already feel
Yes.
like you were productive this morning.
I already feel like I was incredibly productive. So I
Interesting.
got in here at 8, just like looked around, was like, I don't know. I guess I'll like do something.
Right.
Tended to my plants and then sat down and started like writing curriculum for this intro to Postgres course. And it was
There
just
we
like
go.
I looked up and it was 9:16 and I'm like, how have I gotten so much done? I got here at
Right.
8:05. This makes no sense to me.
Right.
And turns out if you're not distracted every couple of seconds, you can get a lot done a lot faster. And it's more enjoyable. It's crazy.
Wow.
I
Okay.
know.
So there's a lot here. I feel
A
like
lot
we've
here.
we've got I mean
Life
a big
changing.
life changing. Yes.
Life
Yes.
changing.
Next week will be especially interesting now because I'll
Yes.
be curious to hear how the week goes and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Okay, so anything else from the Vision Quest itself that you took away, or is this like
Yes.
this was the big takeaway? Okay.
This was the big takeaway, which there
Okay.
may be more to unpack about, but there was
I
another
think there
big
is.
takeaway.
But yeah. Okay, what's the other one?
There's another big takeaway, but do you want to do an ad read first?
That's a great idea. Damn, look, you came back smarter too.
Dude, I am sharp as a tack.
All right. This week brought to you by Laravel Forge, our good friends at Laravel. It's server management with root access, but none of the cognitive overhead. One-click provisioning, zero downtime deployments, a new feature, automated SSL, and a bunch more. In the time I read this ad, you literally could have deployed a Laravel VPS. Yes, it's that fast. Check them out at forge.laravel.com. And Flare by Spotsy, all-in-one error tracking and performance monitoring for your Laravel application. Check them out at flareapp.io/performance-monitoring. Thank them for sponsoring the show. Really appreciate it. The Laravel Forge team this week with a big launch of the new Forge, the OG product, getting tons of love. Laravel Inc. VPSs, real zero downtime deployment, all the stuff. A whole new cool interface. So yeah, check that out. And thanks to both of them for sponsoring. Okay, so I do have thoughts on your first takeaway. Should we do that? Or should we
Okay,
do your
let's do
second big
that.
takeaway?
Let's do
All
that.
right, let's do
Let's
that.
do it.
The other thing, so I think on the surface, it's like, I think we get it, right? Like it's
Right.
pretty straightforward. Like social media is addicting. You're checking it too much. You're trying to accomplish these business goals. It is keeping you from those goals. What can we do in a practical manner to prevent that?
Yep.
Seems reasonable. You already have you got the block tool already.
Yep.
So you use it, you like it, just further leveraging that. Oh, what do you do on the computer?
I have a Focus app.
Okay. So that kind
Just
of
some
blocks
random one. I don't remember what it is, but it blocks, yeah. I can add
Okay.
sites to it and it'll block it.
Okay. So we got a couple tools, seems straightforward. I guess the thing that stuck out like most to me is sort of almost the other flip side that is like attention related, I guess, and like pressure related is like you are working in public a lot, either like actually fully in public, or even if it's like, yeah, you're not going to be like sharing the course things as you go, but like there's a date, people know it, or they know it's coming and people are asking you about it. And like, to me, that's a whole other part of Twitter that is can be stressful, right? Is like you are working in public, which has its advantages, but also like people are on you, then stressed, it's time, then you're like, not you even in particular, but then it's like, well, screw it, because like I'm not getting this done fast enough or well enough, or like you get into that whole thing. And then obviously Twitter's feeding you. Look at person X who's shipped 1,000 courses super amazingly, and it seems like instantly, right? So then you feel bad about yourself and all those things. So Yeah, I think just like this mindset extending into like the product stuff too of like database school. Let's just talk about
Mm-hmm.
that, right? Like that it's going to take time. Both like you need time to work on it, but also it is just going to take longer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And but being in the headspace to like, I'm just gonna keep chipping away at this until I get there, you know? It's like I feel like there's such this environment on Twitter, especially of like ship fast and move on to the next
Yes,
thing, ship fast and move on
totally.
to the next thing, ship 7 things at once, move on to the next thing, right? Like, and not obviously it works for some people and that's great, but I just think that's not really how most businesses are built, you know? So yeah, I think it's just I guess that kinda stuck out to me. I don't know the direct connection, but there's something there of, like, being okay with it taking more time and then just
Yes.
letting that be what it's gonna be. It doesn't necessarily mean you're definitely gonna be successful with it, but it's like you're giving it the space to possibly work versus, like, not even giving it the space to have a chance to work because
Yes.
you're so under this pressure to get it done quickly. Do you know what I
And
mean?
that one of the words that came up was frenetic. And
Right.
that is 100% what you're describing is like the frenetic energy. Like
Right. Yeah.
do it super fast, ship it super fast, move on to the next thing. Like, oh, we'll do it better next time. Like, keep going.
Yep.
And that is another thing that I like observed and felt like I don't like that. I
Yeah.
don't like that. And I think this strategy of deep work in the morning will lead to a like slower and less frenetic uh process of building and releasing these courses.
Yeah.
And so yes, that is a big hope of mine is that changing my day to day will kind of change my bigger broader view on things as well because I agree I think it is going to take a while and I now feel more comfortable with that taking a while because I don't know I just feel more like at peace with do the work and that's my job do the hard work and then
Right.
we'll let the thing grow on its own um so yeah I totally agree and I
Okay.
think I have noticed when I do like log back onto Twitter it all seems less interesting
Yes.
so I'll be
That's
like
definitely true.
I'll be blocked all day and then I'll put the kids down and I'll log on and be like this is what I missed like
Right. Yeah.
y'all haven't said anything interesting the whole time
Yeah.
what are y'all complaining about? And then I'm like, I'll look for 15 minutes and then be like, this is not interesting. I'm sorry. And so then I brick it again and, go about my evening. So I think it is going to have positive knock-on effects
Yep.
of like having a better perspective on, my work, my job, the Twitter, conversation, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Make it might yeah, as you move more towards like, if you want to do this, which I assume is kind of the part of the potential goal of, like, making it more publishing oriented and less, like, consumption oriented on Twitter and things
yep,
like that as you go, like, that just all becomes easier if it's more in that mindset, right? Of just like, "Okay, it's not actually that interesting over here. Here's I'm publishing for people who are here, and that's great. You can consume it here, and then I'm back off to the real work that I'm trying to do." So,
yep, yep, exactly. Um, so the second big takeaway, which
yes.
is congruent with the first but different.
'Kay.
The second big takeaway is that um, I feel I feel like I have more in common with what I've read, heard, listened to, observed. I have more in common with authors and musicians than I do with developers.
Mhm.
I feel and I feel like that has I haven't put that such a fine point on that
Yeah, that's interesting.
until now.
Mhm.
And I feel like I have been trying to hold myself to like this, web dev Twitter standard of,
Right, yes.
like move fast, have lots of opinions, always be trying the new tech, like be like arguing with people all the time. And I feel like I have more in common with a creative uh act or person than I
Yeah,
do with like a software developer or engineer. And
yeah,
so what that has done for me is like reinforced this need to have like this solo pursuit, deep work time all by myself to do creative work
right.
instead of thinking that like my job is to be plugged into the conversation. I feel like my job is to work quietly by myself to produce artifacts.
Mhm.
And I take a lot more inspiration from, as we've talked about many times, Brandon Sanderson, authors like that, and hearing their stories than listening to like software developers talk about their work. And
Right.
that's been helpful for me because I feel like a lot of the times um, where I feel friction is I'll get all of this advice from people or like admonition, like you got to do it this way or you got to do this thing.
Right.
And I think now I feel like, yeah, well, that doesn't really, that's not what I want to do with my life. And
Right.
I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah.
I'm okay saying, yeah, that is good advice for, somebody else in a different field or who views their work differently. I don't,
Right.
Jeffrey Way may not feel like an author or a musician. He may feel like a software developer, and that's fine. But the
Right.
way that I want to live my life is more like a creative endeavor than just a software developer. And so that has been extremely helpful in framing what I do with my time, what I produce, how I feel about receiving input from people, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense. I think you're super on the right track there. I think that's a much better mindset, I think, for yourself, but even just for the business stuff you're trying to do. It's like, even with my stuff, right? It's like, I'm not programmer dad, I'm business
Mm-hmm.
dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the programming stuff, we're in the programming circles on social media and in our friend groups too.
Right.
And it's like, we happen to be friends with very smart, top of their field programmers, right? And there's
Mm-hmm.
this draw of like, well, maybe I need to be like
Mm-hmm.
that or whatever, right? And but that's an unrealistic standard, right? Like,
Yep.
but they're there. Like, am I ever going to be as good at programming as Adam Wathan or Taylor Otwell? There's not a chance in hell, right? I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
anywhere in the ballpark. So having that separation to realize that that's their game
Yep.
and that's not my game. And even though I am a programmer, I don't necessarily need to be held to that standard, and that
Yep.
you have other things you're trying to accomplish that are not just, am I creating the cleanest code or the best API or trying to outwit Dax about a programming topic on Twitter, right?
Exactly.
Like, you're
Yes.
not going to
Do not
outwit
care.
Dax about some programming thing, right? Because he's
Well, you might, but he'll
10x.
make you feel bad about it.
Right? No, that's true too. But let's be honest, he's just probably a better programmer, right? He's just better, and that's fine. Like, and that's his thing, and that's great. But that's not necessarily where you're going to bring the most value to
Yep.
the world or yourself, or trying to out Dax is probably not going to be a successful strategy for you, right? So, yeah, I think that makes total sense. I think that's going to give you permission to do a lot of
Yes.
things
Yes.
differently,
Yes.
and to
Exactly.
feel differently about it. And
'Cause I like to do stupid
yeah,
stuff, and that's,
right,
historically, it's always been framed as stupid stuff. Perhaps it's like creative work. Like,
yeah,
I like to be creative, and I think focusing and funneling that creativity, and that's another thing, like, I need to focus day to day. I also need to focus big picture on just on database school, and
right,
I, like, feel that viscerally. But focusing that creativity into this project and this product feels good, and it feels like I am being a creative, which is, I think that's what I want out of life, is
right.
to feel like I am a creative doing creative projects, and that feels good.
That's good. I like that. And then also, I mean, there's also this like, I think there's like two sides to that. It's like, one is like permission to be creative and do the wacky things you sometimes want to go off and do, right? But on the flip side, I would say practicing this ability and honing this skill of like having this focused work time could be good in that when you do go do something creative, it's more strategically done
Totally.
than just, I got an inspiration and I'm just like, sometimes you do stuff like that and it's fine, right? But like when you have too much of that, then that's just taking you away from the thing. Maybe you
Totally.
should have just worked for another 6 months on the thing you were working on,
Yep.
and then you go off on this other adventure and now you're in the wrong direction or whatever. So it's like practicing that skill of being focused. And then practice the skill of like being, how can you be creative within the confines, right?
Yes,
So like
totally.
database school is this thing, but hey, you can have a podcast and we can do this other thing. And maybe we have an app that hooks in that does some other
Yep.
stuff. So it's still like I'm getting to do cool stuff and engaging things from my mind, but also it's still pushing the boulder a little bit forward on the main product as opposed to just being totally unrelated and is just a side quest, which sometimes you need to do those things too. But at your stage where you're trying to get this thing
Yes.
going, if you go off on a side quest, that there's only one of you and you don't have employees and all the other stuff. So
Mhm.
like you have one employee, but like, you know what I mean? Like that she's not necessarily like working on database school making courses, right? So yeah. So you get what I'm saying there. But yeah, I
I
think
do.
that all makes sense. I like it. I like it. I think this is
Mhm.
all good stuff that's come out of this.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel I feel so much better. I feel completely
That's
different.
amazing. That's great.
Yeah, I really do feel like I don't know, like my brain just kind of untangled
Yeah.
and rewired itself, and I just feel like, oh, this is obvious, and it may have been obvious to everyone all along. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. Like that doesn't
Right.
matter. Unfortunately, it has to become like
Yeah.
embodied by me, and not even
Right.
just intellectually. Like I have to embody this feeling of,
Yeah.
oh man, I feel like this is when people decide, oh, I'm going to get fit. It's like you can try for a long time, but then at some point there's a switch that flips and you're like,
Right.
I'm different now. I'm just
This is who I
fundamentally different
am.
now. Yes,
Right. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And I feel like that switch was flipped and I feel like, well, I'm different now. And it feels good. It feels great.
That's so good, man.
It feels like I came in this morning and sat down out there. I'm in the studio, but I sat down in the living room.
Mm,
I have a desk out there, and I just like sat quietly and worked, and it felt great.
yeah.
And I look back on it and I'm like, that was fulfilling. That feels good.
Right.
I'm glad I did that. I got
Yes.
stuff done and I feel good about it.
Yep.
And that's
I
all I
like it.
want. I just want to go
Yeah.
home at the end of the day and feel like I got stuff done and I feel good about it. That's all I want.
That's so good.
So I
Yep.
feel like I'm on the path to get there.
Woohoo! All
I
right.
did
Well,
it.
this is successful. Yes. Now we just gotta keep doing it, which is always
We
the
got to
hard
keep
part.
doing it.
But
We got to
I
keep
do
doing
think,
it.
as we talked about before, I do feel like definitely since I've been off of Twitter, like a year or whatever it's been, like when I go back in there, I mean, even different than like I feel like Instagram is trying to send me things I like, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
annoying about doing it. But it's like you like this, you like this, you like this. Here you
Hmm.
go. Like, there, I feel like it's so optimized to like make you sad or something, like
Yeah.
mad and sad, and like even if you're just on your follower thing feed, like they're retweeting stuff and talking about stuff because they're getting fed the algo, right? Because they're viewing it from the algo. So like it's like unavoidable on there. So
Yep.
yeah, I think you're gonna be if you can keep that up, I think you're gonna notice a big difference. Like you said, like you already see the difference just like being disconnected for a few hours a day. You're like, oh, it's not as interesting over here. And that's totally every time I'm in there, I'm like, I can't even believe how much time I spent on this. So we're
I know.
like,
I
I,
know.
I don't think it was always as bad as now. So it's not like I don't feel like, oh man, like all that time was totally wasted. But it is like, whew, yeah, I'm sure over the last 5, even before Elon, I'm sure it was devolving even before that, and it's just gotten worse. So yeah, I think that's gonna be great. I'm excited for you. I
It
think
was,
we're
it
gonna see a
was,
lot
it
of Aaron
was,
Francis output here,
I think
like
so. I think
that's
so.
gonna be nice.
Yeah. It was everything that I hoped it would be and more. So
Right.
it
All
totally
right.
paid off. Yep.
Vision Quest. Are you gonna try to do any regular vision questing? Like, is it gonna be a quarterly, manual,
I
annual?
think I will definitely try to do it at least once a year.
Yeah.
I think next year I'll probably go early November because it was cool, but it was not cold.
Mm,
And I think it would be even nicer if it was a little bit of a chill
yeah.
in the air. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to try to do this at least once a year. And there's just something like the being completely by yourself part, I
Yeah.
think is extremely important. And so it would have been super fun to have Jennifer there, but it would have been very different, right? It would have been like a time for us to like talk and connect, which would have been great.
Right.
But this vision quest aspect, I think, has to be fully solo. Like you're just
Yeah.
there by yourself. And for me, I think it's important that like it's not scheduled. Like there's no do this in the
Right.
morning, this in the afternoon, this in the evening. You just sit there.
Yep.
And so I will probably do this at least once a year for sure.
All right, cool. Well, I have one other item about it, but let's do an ad read first, and then we will hit that.
So after my vision quest at 10:45 on Friday morning, got to check out at 11, I sat down and I opened
Bye.
bentonow.com to send my newsletter about my great revelations. So thank you to Bento for sponsoring the show. Bento is the email, marketing, and CRM platform teams actually love. That is true. Kelsey and I love it. So Bento can be used to send marketing or transactional emails or Aaron's newsletter. So if you're not on the newsletter, go sign up at aaronfrancis.com. I've used Bento for Try Hard Studios for, I guess, a couple of years now. So thank you to Jesse and Bento for sponsoring this show. BentoNow.com.
So the other thing you did on, I think, Friday at some point is you posted a tweet
I
with
did, yeah.
some pictures
I
of
did,
your
yeah.
adventures.
Yep.
And you got some nice replies.
I did.
But you also got some crazy replies.
Got some crazies.
And I thought it was like just the perfect sort of encapsulation about Twitter. And like, there's just people on there being like, oh, you took a photo while you were there. How'd you do that? As if they don't know how you took a photo. You took a photo with your phone. You took a photo. Oh, you posted it to Twitter. How'd you do that? Like trying to get like a lot of gotchas.
A lot of gotchas.
Like this stuff.
Lot of gotchas.
Like, you're just having to read through these things. It's just going to make you sad. It's like, even though there's nice ones in the mix, it's like the stupid ones are just going to bring you down. And it's so annoying. So I just thought it was so perfect encapsulation of you're on this quest to maybe work through your feelings about Twitter. And the first tweet back is like full of all this bullshit. And it's full like just perfect.
Bunch of freaking randos. So here's my thought. Here are my thoughts on that. So the tweet says, I was offline the whole time. And then it also says, it's amazing what happens when you sit on the porch for several hours with no music, no phone, no books, right? Yep. And so people are like, oh, you didn't have a phone, but you did take pictures. And I'm like, okay, well, I sat on the porch without my phone for many hours. I didn't say I didn't have a phone. How'd you take the pictures? With my phone. You can take pictures while being offline. And like, first of all, I said, like, it was clear that I had my phone. Second of all, without my phone to me means like, without looking at my phone, right? Without doing anything on my phone. It's true that I didn't actually have my phone on the porch, but the point is like, I wasn't using my phone the whole weekend, right? So then people, like you said, chimed in with like these stupid gotchas. And I realized, you know what? Here's a new rule I have. If we're not friends and like, you don't follow me, I don't follow you, we've never interacted, and the first time you ever interact with me is some snarky like gotcha tweet, I don't care. I'm going to block you immediately.
Right. Yeah.
You're blocked.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was a joke that was just like a bad joke. Make better jokes next time. But yeah, like people that I don't follow me. I don't know them from Adam that said like, and yet you ran back to social media when you were done. Okay, well, you're blocked. Figure it out. I don't know. It's not my problem. So that made me feel like that's another thing where it's like, you know what? I don't care. This is right for me. It's right for me to just block you and keep you out of my mind space. I don't care what the rules are, what the meta is, what it says about me that I block people and other people don't. I don't care. Doesn't matter. You're blocked. And so that felt really good, actually.
Yeah,
it felt awesome.
That's good. Well, that's good. It is like the cognitive overhead of like, I have to block this person. I have to think about blocking that. You know, at least I do like this idea of like more like a rule, so it can at least become like, I'm just autopiloting through these, and if you're being an idiot, I don't want to see anything from you in the future. The problem is the internet's a huge freaking place, and it's loaded with idiots,
and everybody
so you can
sucks.
never like block all the idiots.
I know.
Is the problem. But yeah, it's like people make the same joke. I'm like, why are there 5 posts about you took a photo with your phone?
Joke.
I'm like, don't you see the other 4 that say he took a photo with his phone? Like, I don't understand what the point of this.
That's the other thing. It's like, guys, be more clever, be more creative. Like, check the replies and see that everyone else has made that joke. You're very boring. Somebody replied, and I said, this is a very boring reply. I responded and said, this is a very boring reply. And they were like, oh, well, point taken, but tell me. And then I just ignored them. I was like, no. Yeah. So yeah, it's people are like, just, it's like I'm talking with my friends and some stranger barges in and is like, hey, you're an idiot. I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to like allow you into this space. I don't have to do that.
Would you ever consider using, I forget the exact setup Twitter has, but like, you know, where only people you follow can reply or whatever. I think there's some permission settings around that. Is it too restrictive, you think?
Yeah, I think it's too restrictive because I only follow like 1,400 or 1,500 people. And that's a lot of people. But there are people that I really like like
Yeah.
personally, that their content is terrible and I don't want to
Right.
see it at all. And so I want
Yeah.
I want those people to be, allowed to respond. Like there are some people that I like that all they tweet about is React
Mm,
drama, and I'm like,
right.
not a freaking chance. But I'm still friends, with them.
Right.
So yeah, that's probably too restrictive.
Or maybe at least they have to follow you. I don't know if there's a setting for that, but
That's
would, like,
interesting.
keep it from getting out to the next level,
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. If
maybe.
there's that setting, that might be a good idea. Because yeah, it's
Could
these people that don't follow me
Right.
and then come in and just criticize me, and I'm like,
Right.
actually, I don't care about your opinions. Turns out,
Yeah.
I don't
I
care about
mean,
your opinions
those
at
people
all.
are totally useless, right? Like, at least the people who follow you have made
Yes,
some attempt at a connection with you, and, like, maybe you can give them a little benefit of the doubt, or maybe you
have
don't
some
want to, but, like,
context of who I
there's
am.
something right, yeah, whereas, like, when it's just like, "Oh, it got retweeted," or the algo served it to them, and then they're just like, "Ha, ha, ha, gotcha," and you're like,
Yeah,
"Okay," like, just have to deal with that seems
exhausting. Like,
annoying, so
congrats. I think I said to somebody, I took the pictures with my phone. You caught me. Congrats. Like, what do you want? Like, what is your ideal outcome from this? Like, for me to delete the tweet and be like, oh, somebody caught me. Like,
Right.
what exactly are you after?
Yeah.
Besides
That's
getting blocked by me.
the thing is, like, the power of, like, the negative posts is just so outweighs the positive ones, I think, for
Yeah.
most people. It's very hard to be the type of person who could be like, "I take the good from the positive, and the negative ones don't drop me down at all." Like, they just tend to drop you down at least a little
Yep.
bit, and that stinks, you know? It's like, there's no like, the value of this tweet is minimal to begin with, and now if it, like, puts me in a bad mood for an hour because
Yeah.
I read a stupid post and made me feel bad for posting it or thinking the thing I did or whatever. Like now it's a
Mm-hmm.
negative of the
Mm-hmm.
versus a slightly tiny minor positive. So
Yep.
yeah.
And that's another reason to not start the day with Twitter, because those
Yeah.
things can like start your day
Derail the
off on a
day.
pretty crappy note.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Maybe keep pushing it out too. Maybe it
I
becomes the
know.
4 p.m.
I
Twitter check-in,
know.
or the noon and 4 p.m. or
I
like
know.
that kind of thing, as it goes
I
along.
know. I
So
know. I've thought about that. Again,
and
I
I
don't
like
want to make,
starting
I don't
simple.
want to
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to pull an errand and go too far too fast,
Right.
and so we'll just keep
It's
it.
not sustainable necessarily,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that sounds good. I went on my own vision quest.
You did.
I did 36 hours in Philadelphia, which the weekend before I did 36 hours in Boston. So I'm
Yep.
hitting all the Northeast cities. And it was great. It was fantastic. It was similar to yours in a certain sense of it was restorative
Mm-hmm.
and relaxing, but hung out with Daniel Colborn and Chris Morell and sat in what's the name? Rotterdam Square? Rotterhouse Square. Whatever. The big square in the center of Philadelphia. I was there for like 6 hours. The weather was perfect. 2 different times I was there, once with each of them, having nice, long, multi-hour
Oh, that's
conversations.
great.
People doing nice things, people hanging out in the park. It was all beautiful and fantastic. 75 and just perfect. Everybody out enjoying the day. Had some great food. Had maybe the best ice cream I've ever had. Chris took me to this
Whoa.
place. Yeah, it makes specialized soft serve ice cream in the special machine.
Soft serve
And
is the
I'm not really
best you've ever had.
yes, it was unbelievable. Pistachio cardamom
Oh.
soft serve ice cream. And it
Oh.
was unbelievable. We had to wait online because it's like a thing and whatever.
Pistachio.
Oh, you don't like
Ugh.
pistachio, dude? Oh,
No.
pistachio is amazing. Anyway, it was
Pistachio is strike
fantastic.
1, soft serve is strike 3, you're out. There's no way that's the best ice cream you've
Oh, it
ever
was
had.
very good. So the little side thing here is I've always hated soft serve. I've always
Yeah,
been a hard ice cream
it's
man,
fine.
and I got my gallbladder out. And post gallbladder, I love
Oh.
soft serve. I don't know why. I don't know
Oh.
why. Some
That's
chemical
interesting. There's probably not a
change.
lot of literature on that, but that's an
There's probably
interesting
not. I don't
one.
know if they've
Yeah.
done any studies on that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the soft serve since then. So anyway, had the
How
soft serve. It
strange.
was so good. And we played poker till
All 3 of
5
you?
a.m. Chris didn't go. It was just me and Daniel.
Just the degens,
And
just the true
the
degens.
true Laravel poker crew.
Yeah.
We need to get some more people on the Laravel poker crew, but it was great. Casino I'd never been to, so I would take a chip home from a new poker
Okay.
casino. So I got a chip for the collection.
Did you say 3 a.m. or 5 a.m.?
5 a.m.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
A little sleepy. I'm still a little sleepy. Although I kind of slept pretty well the next day. I slept till like 10. So not too bad considering like a
Did you
5 a.m.
win or
bedtime.
lose?
So I won just a couple $100, so it was fine. It was good. I was up like $1,200 at one point, but we were just playing 1-3, which is like the lowest stakes. So yeah, it was good. We had a huge hand, which I don't know if I'll go through the whole hand, but the summary is me versus Daniel, and we were both very deep. So you can only buy into this game for $400. That's the
Okay.
most you can buy into it. And we're both sitting there with like, I don't know, 1,200 or something like that. I was in the 1,200. Whatever. I think he opened, I called, blah, blah. There's a few other people in the pot. The moral of the story is on the turn, I make a straight flush. And
Whoa.
on the river, the board pairs. So there's a flush on the board's paired. So there's a lot of potential big hands. I check to him, being very sneaky. He goes all in as a bluff to try to get me to fold, but I have a straight flush, so I'm not going to fold. And yeah, so I beat him in a big pot, which I felt bad about that I
So
played
he
it
went
kinda
all in and you
sneaky.
took it?
Yeah, I took the whole
Ah!
thing. Yeah, so I
Mostly
stacked 'em.
technical rules.
Yes.
Suck it, no plans to merge.
I did abuse it a little bit there. I really played it sneaky, but whatever. So we were gentlemen about it. I gave him some back later. It turned out fine. I also won $500 extra because I had the high hand for the hour, so it's the highest hand in
Whoa.
the room. So that was nice. But we were splashing around because when you're there with a buddy, you tend to be like a little looser. You're playing,
Right.
we're bluffing a
You're having
lot.
fun.
We're having fun. We're chatting, joking around with the table and stuff. So it's a little different than when you're there just to crush people.
Right.
So it gave some of the profits back, but not too bad. And he ended up coming back too. He actually ended up coming all the way back and being up a good amount. And then I think he lost some back. So I think he was, just down a little bit by the end. So not too bad either. But yeah, it was a good time.
That's fun.
Gotta get into the poker. It's so much fun. You're just there
It
with
is
the
fun.
normies. It's hard to be on your phone too much. It's hard to
Yep.
be like it's kind of a vision questy in that way too. Like if you're really
In a way.
playing,
Yep.
you've got to be focused on there's 8 people at the table. You should know what they're all doing all the time. Like how do they
That's
react in certain
crazy.
spots
Yeah.
and like what do they show up with on the river? And if you're really playing to win, like you have to be paying attention to what everybody's doing. And so you kind of get locked in, on something that's not coding and work and business and whatever. That was good. Took the train both ways, which I've never done to Philly before, I don't think, which was awesome. Like it's only a few minutes longer than driving and just cruising on the train. So that was great. Yeah. So that was my weekend, but it was fun.
That's
Highly
a pretty good
recommended.
weekend.
Check out Philly.
So
Check out
fun that
live.
you and Daniel and Chris are all up there and can like get together and hang out. That's so
Yeah,
fun.
it's nice to be near. It's the Northeast is what I love about the Northeast. Like all these cities are pretty close together. It's like a couple hours to them.
Yeah.
You can kind of meet up with people without like once you get into flying places, just such a
No.
bigger pain, to make it all happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be playing poker again in Canada at the end of the month. So if you're going to Wire Live, people out there, we're gonna cross the border and check out the poker room in Canada. So
That's fun.
I'll be there playing poker. You can come try to take my money if you can, which you probably can't, to be honest with you out there, people, but you can try.
You can try. I wouldn't go against the Godfather, frankly.
That's a good advice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. All right. I don't know. This also got me kicked off on travel gear. I don't know if you have any travel gear stuff, but I just this morning, this is what I did. I bought a bunch of travel stuff because I'm super annoyed with my travel setup. Like it's too
What are we
big, it's too
talking about?
bulky. Talking about kind of everything. Like I'm on this train with this huge backpack. It's heavy.
Looking like a doofus.
I'm walking through Philly from the train station to the hotel, this huge heavy backpack. And I'm like, I'm here for like a day. Like, why do I have all this stuff? I have my purple travel pillow, which I really love to have, but that takes up a fair amount of room. That's so good though. I know I hate it. But it's like when you get a bad pillow at the hotel, it's so bad. So I do love my travel pillow.
Okay.
It's some clothes and whatever. But then like I have my toiletry bag, it's like big. And I have in there like big things, like a whole thing of Advil, like a big thing of Advil and a full-size toothbrush. And like, why do I have all this big heavy stuff when I'm here for a day? I'm not going to need 40 Advil. so this one, I have like I have this big wire thing, which is cool and I like it, but it's like got every kind of wire ever. And I'm like, why? I
Oh,
have
like
only
a
have USB-C.
like a cable caddy kind of thing?
Yes, yeah.
Got
So I
it.
have all every, I have a power
Yep.
Monka things and I have wires and I have all this stuff. I'm like, I don't need all this stuff. Like everything's USB-C now except for the Air Maxes. And it's like, I don't need all this stuff. So I went and bought a bunch of Anchor stuff that's like the
Yep.
smallest, littlest. It's a battery, but it's also the power thing and it's got a wire in it. So it just pulls out
Cool.
and you don't need all this stuff. I got 2 little containers for like from Tom Bin for little for toiletries and for
Mhm.
wires that could just be like tiny. I bought little deodorant, travel
Yep,
deodorants.
yep,
I bought
yep,
the travel toothpaste. I bought the
yep.
travel toothbrush.
That's what I
And
was
I
gonna recommend.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm just cutting like the bare minimum size and weight, and then I'm very excited for Buffalo trip here to see if this markedly improves the situation.
And it improves it because then you can leave all of that in your travel,
Yes,
whatever they call it, dump kit or whatever.
yes,
So you're
that's the
not
other
getting
thing.
home and you're like, "Oh, I gotta unpack my freaking deodorant and
Hate the unpack.
toothpaste." Like,
Yes,
give me a
I hate
break.
doing that. Yes.
So I get home and I take the entire, toiletries kit and I put it
Yep,
in a drawer in the bathroom. That's
and
it.
you're
I'm
done.
done.
Yeah, and you can just
And then
take
when
it
I
and
get it out
go.
again, there's deodorant and toothpaste and hair stuff. It's all in there.
I
Yes,
bought nail
gotta do it.
clippers. Yes, 'cause I always put in the nail clippers if I need the nails, my
Yep.
nails clipped out. It's like, nope, just nail clippers for that bag. Boom.
Yes.
Like, just leave it
It's
all in
like,
there.
how long am I gonna be gone? How long are my nails right now? Should I pack?
Right.
No, just have
Right.
extra nail
Right.
clippers.
Just have a little
Yes.
pair of nail clippers
Totally,
just in
totally
case.
agree. Yep. I
Ah,
have
okay.
wrinkle release in mine. So I have a
Oh,
little
what
thing
is
of
this?
Downy, like a little spray,
Oh,
pump spray of Downy
okay.
wrinkle release. So when I get somewhere for a
Yes.
conference and I look
Mm,
like I just rolled out of bed because I packed my shirts,
yes.
I can just
Right.
spray it on, pull it, and then
Does
I'm
it
wrinkle
work?
free. It works great. So I
Oh,
always have
okay. I
wrinkle
need to get
release
that.
with me.
I
Yep.
need to get
Mhm.
that. I did buy some. The other thing I bought was these were the best rated ones. I don't know, but what is it called? Like Thule? I always say Thule, but it's not Thule. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
Thule
yeah.
or whatever. Makes compression bags. So like you can squeeze it down. It's
Oh.
on my pillow. It's like so you can put it
So
all
you're
in there
vacuum
and
packing
zip
now.
it. Well, no, it's
Yeah.
not a vacuum one. It's not that they make those too, but I was like, I'm never gonna do that. This is just like a heavy duty zipper that like
Mhm.
compresses it just with
You
the
like
zip.
sit on it and then you zip it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So we'll see how that goes. People seem to like them, so I don't know. We'll see. But just because also I end up with just the stuff piled in there all weird
Yeah.
and like yeah.
Totally.
So I compress it, make room. So I have room for my pillow, have the pillow, and then. But I was worried about the wrinkle situation. So this wrinkle release is a good hack here for me. All right,
So
wrinkle release.
two-part hack. Get the
Mm,
Downy wrinkle release travel
okay.
size, and then
Yep.
get the Downy wrinkle release home size. Because I use it at home if I'm like, oh shoot, I'm running out and I look like a
You look
homeless person.
funky.
Spray, spray,
Yeah.
spray, all good. And
Okay.
then you can use the big guy to refill the little guy.
Really?
There you go.
It's
Yeah,
an
of course.
openable thing. Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's
sometimes
a
these are
little.
like
It's
contained
just
or
a
whatever, you know?
no. It's just a little like a
Okay.
cleaning spray bottle, and so you can just fill it right back up
Now, can you wrinkle release? You do this not while it's on you, the
while it's on
clothes,
me. Yep.
while it's on you. And so,
It's just like a fabric softener kind of thing. It's just, it
mm,
makes your shirt smell good, but it also like relaxes the wrinkles. And
I
that's it.
can't even imagine how this works. The chemicals people have come
Oh
up
no,
with.
it's terrible.
It's
Yeah.
kinda
You want to be done having kids by the time you're
right,
applying
yeah.
wrinkle release to your body. You just want to make sure that you're all in the clear at that point.
Oh, man, the
The other travel
humans.
hack that
What else you got
probably
for me?
won't apply to many is keeping medicine cold while traveling.
Oh,
Insulin,
okay.
for
Yeah.
example, it needs to stay
Mhm.
cold. And so I have I don't remember what brand it is, but it's like a one of those hipster water bottles, but the kind that you can totally seal at the top. And so
Mhm.
I put ice in and then I put my medicine in a baggie and I put that in and then I totally seal it. And so it's
Oh,
like one
that
of
must stay
those.
cold forever.
Oh, it stays cold forever. It's one of those,
Yeah,
thermal insulated
right.
metal
Like a
cans,
Yeti
basically
or
like a
whatever,
Yeti, but
yeah.
with a screw top on
Right,
it.
yep.
So that's
Oh,
huge.
that's interesting.
Yeah. And then when I get to the hotel, obviously I put it in the fridge and then I get ice before I go home, put my
Yep.
insulin back in the little baggie, put it in there, screw it in, and then it works totally fine. And you can go through security with it as long as it hasn't melted too much. And if it has melted a little bit, you just dump out the
Mm.
water and then just show them it's just ice. And they're like, yep, ice is cool.
Why is ice cool?
Man,
These
it's
little rules
all
make no
theater.
sense.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
That's the other thing is like I love my utility like Leatherman. Like you know what a
Mhm.
Leatherman is, like
Yep.
utility tool. Like I love these. I have one in the car, I got one in the house. Like they're just like you just need to cut something or whatever.
Yep.
You got a little scissors, you got a little knife, whatever, a screwdriver.
Got a little
Like
flathead screwdriver. Yep.
yeah, I just want to have that in my travel bag, but I
No
know they're going to
chance.
take it. I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just checked today. I was like, well, maybe maybe they backed off it and there's some minimum length of the knife rule. And they're like, no, no knives at all. And I'm like, stupid. Nobody's taking over this plane with this little mini knife. Like
No, we're
they're
done.
either
We're
going
done with planes. Yeah,
to,
we've done the
yeah,
drones. Yeah.
right. Yes. And they took over the planes in 9/11. They didn't have little knives. Like, I mean, some of them
No,
might have, but like, they just walked up and said, we're taking over the plane and people just hand them the plane. It's not about the little knife. But anyway,
it's not. It's
no
not the
little
little knife.
knives.
No little
No little
knives.
knives. So
Yeah.
they can't have my multi-tool. They do make lame multi-tools that don't have the little knife. I'm like, I
What's the
don't
point?
know. Yeah, it feels like what's the point? Like I want the knife. So yeah. Anyway, so comment down below or reply or email in if you have other travel hacks for me to minimize my size and weight and anything I can do to optimize there. So paper clothes would be the other one. You know, if I get that paper clothes idea going, you know,
I
on
don't
the
know
roll
if.
with the paper
Yeah, I don't know if that's
clothes,
gonna work so well.
they just throw them away. How great would
You
that
got the
be?
whole rain situation and the tearing, and
Yeah, you gotta
it
have some real clothes too.
could be
You
embarrassing.
got
You don't want
emergency real clothes.
you don't want paper clothes. We're just gonna stop that one right here. This is just one of the worst ideas I've ever heard in my life, to be honest with you.
All right, all right. We got one more topic here, so give it to us.
We got one more.
Business errand topic.
Fired somebody.
Oh,
Yeah,
welcome,
they're
welcome to the
gone.
club.
They're gone. So I've fired a few people in my life.
Okay,
This one, it was just immediately obvious. So this
yeah.
YouTube editor, right?
Yeah.
The one that gave me such grief last week or the week before or whatever.
I
when
knew he wasn't gonna make it.
No,
Yeah.
not long for this world. So I gave him a second project, which was the exact same thing. It was a podcast that was going to go on YouTube. Talking Heads 2.
Right.
That's it.
As easy as it gets. Like it's almost
easy
no
as
work.
it gets. Yes.
Watch this thing and make sure there's nothing weird and clip out a couple weird spots. Like that's
And
it.
so we had like had this come to Jesus moment where it was like, hey, if I tell you, you know, it's due on this day, it needs to be done like within business hours on that day. I don't want it at 4 a.m.
Right.
So, you know, last week I told him this episode is like, I need this on YouTube by Monday because I'm going to release it on Wednesday. So even then I had already given him buffer. Like, okay, let me tell you when I want it and then I'll release it after that. That seems reasonable. So on Friday, he texts me and he's like, hey, I'm uploading it today. I'm like, cool. That's awesome.
Nice. That's stuff's happening. Right.
So I check on Saturday. There's nothing there. There's just nothing there. And so I text him and I'm like, hey, did I miss it?
Right.
And he says, oh no, I saw that you said you wanted it uploaded on Monday. So I'm going to upload it on Monday. And I'm like, then why did you tell me Friday? Like, don't hold yourself to a higher standard that you cannot meet. If you want to hold yourself to a higher standard, that's fine. Just make sure you meet it. Like you were in fact hoisted by your own petard here. You did this. And I'm like, okay. Monday comes and goes.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. We couldn't have seen that twist coming.
Comes and goes. And so I text him and I'm like, hey man, just want to check. Did I miss it? And he said, hey, I'm having a family emergency. Text me back I text him at 7 p.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to give him business hours. And then I waited an extra 2 hours, texted him, hey, did I miss it? Text me back at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Hey, I'm having a family emergency. I'll call you later. And that's the last I've ever heard from him. That was it. Last I heard from him.
Just disappeared.
So I texted him back immediately. Hey, just upload what you have to Google Drive. I'll take it from here. Nothing. 12:30, 1 o'clock rolls around, and I send him a message that's like, hey, man, why don't you just send me an invoice for everything you've done? I'm going to look for another editor. I hope everything works out for you. That's it. No tech. I haven't heard back. I got an invoice via email and I haven't heard back from him.
Oh, you did get an invoice. Okay.
Yeah.
So the invoice, the money part, he's got down.
The invoice
he can
came,
invoice you. Right?
The response, like, was
you never got any video.
No.
So you're now paying him for something. He didn't even deliver anything. You're just paying him for what he didn't deliver.
Didn't even bill me for that one. So I guarantee he didn't even start on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's gone.
Oh, goodness.
And the whole thing is, I need somebody to make my life less stressful. And this is not that.
Ideal.
He may be extremely talented. I'll never know because he makes my life too stressful.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of thing where like, I mean, obviously the ideal is they do a great job and they make your life less stressful because they are on top of everything. But like for this like video podcast, it's actually more important that they're on time and just
Correct.
handle stuff without your input. And maybe they're not as good with that thing. Like you can have
Totally.
a mediocre editor who just is on top of everything and it
Yep.
gets done, versus yeah, the opposite of that. So yeah, I think that's the right move. I guess on to the next one.
On to the next one.
There must be, websites or job boards or something where people
Yeah,
post their
and
services
there are
or
2 guys that Steve and I have worked with before, one
mm,
for old courses and one for the Code Rabbit video, and so I'm talking to both of them to see, like, "Hey, what would you charge?" They're just, they're more senior, but what would you charge
right,
to, like, edit these podcasts on an ongoing basis?
yeah,
So, yeah, the ideal is I do it all in Riverside, which I do already. Then I record an intro in Riverside, which is not something I've done.
mm,
And then they can go into Riverside and pull all of the files and just make the podcast. Like I shouldn't have
right,
to do anything. This
right.
is very easy.
I mean, yeah,
So,
it should be pretty straightforward, so,
yep,
and you're gonna need somebody like this to do the course anyway too, right, or
I
no?
am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you'll have some other stuff for him once you get a little farther along here,
Yep.
so
Yep. So
all right. Well, that was a big one.
that
Lots
was a
going
big one.
on. Cool.
New
I'm very
man.
happy the Vision Quest was a
Yep.
success. I'm very excited for next week's episode, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you're not here. Like I'm off the wagon.
No, no.
It's all terrible.
New
I think it's gonna be
new
good though.
new
I think
month?
it's
Yeah,
new
new
man.
month's new me. There we go.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Give us a comment. Give us a like. All that stuff. Review it 5 stars over at the iTunes. Sponsor the show. Go over to mostlytechnical.com to do that, and to catch up on old episodes, all those sort of things. And we will see you next week. Thanks to the sponsors. Have a good one.
See ya.